Ahsoka has seen absolutely nothing to prove that the Death Watch are really gone, that Bo-Katan is a changed person, any of that. But because the audience knows that Bo-Katan is supposedly a good person now, the narrative wants you to believe that she's a good person now, then the audience is like, oh yeah, go Ahsoka for supporting this good person against that bad person, Maul. The narrative does not draw any attention to the fact that this is basically Ahsoka having omniscience about other characters' morality. Mary Sue. Part 2. The Phantom Apprentice.
Ahsoka. Tano, is it? I can't say yours is a name familiar to me.
I think I mentioned one time that I find it kind of interesting that he knows her name perfectly, though I don't recall them introducing her to him, unless you have to assume he's been intercepting communications or something.
Again, you have to do the writer's job for them.
Yeah, so he somehow knows her name, pronounces it perfectly, he knows her name, and then he's like, but I don't know, this is unfamiliar to me, I don't know you. It's like,
honestly, something I would have found kind of funny is if they had him pronounce it Ashoka, the way so many fans mispronounce her name.
That would have been hilarious.
Yes!
And it would have actually kind of established, like, hey, I don't really know you.
Yeah. The only downside to that is she would have had to correct him then, and she would have been so snooty about it.
This is true.
Yeah.
I imagine we have several mutual friends.
I wouldn't put it that way.
Of course not. But I'm afraid your way of thinking is behind the times.
How does that make her thinking behind the times?
Yeah, it's like, isn't he referring to Obi-Wan? So why does she not consider him a friend?
I'm assuming she's saying I wouldn't see it that way because Maul is the one who's not friends with the Jedi.
Right.
So
no, that's fair.
It's her.
Also, I mentioned this in my plot armor video on Ahsoka, how in the last episode it was established that Ahsoka is out of contact, and now all of a sudden she's in contact again. How very convenient.
That is very convenient. Though it looks like now they're down in the tunnels too, right? Because Bo-Katan's like, oh crap, it's a trap, so get down there. So maybe once they got down there, then communication was reestablished. But like, again, this is me just
doing the writer's job for them.
figuring out ways that it could work.
They seem to be chilling there.
I guess they're just like, well, we're down here. Better hope she contacts us. Yeah, why weren't they trying to contact her?
Okay, I'm waiting for Maul to explain how Ahsoka's thinking is behind the times for saying that he's not friends with Kenobi.
He's not. He's never no, that's not. Don't hold your breath.
Okay.
I was certain that Kenobi would have come himself. Perhaps bring his loyal foe, Skywalker, is it?
Yeah, see, he goes, it's Skywalker, right? But with her, it's just like, yep, Ahsoka Tano, okay.
Why did Kenobi send you?
Why don't you surrender? And then we can both go and ask him.
I mean, her response makes sense. It doesn't make sense for her to honestly answer the question, but, you know. The honest answer to why did Kenobi send you is he didn't. She bullied him into it, and he said, fine, go.
Yup.
Soon the Jedi and the Republic will no longer be the controlling interest in the galaxy.
How does he know all about Order 66?
I think Maul later says, like, I don't actually know what's gonna happen, but I know something's gonna happen.
The only plan that matters. Not even I was made aware of its grand design. Not yet.
And it's like, why not yet? Just, why? Why not just kill her?
Wait, is he saying not yet as in, like, no, you're not going to catch me yet? But there's, like, why would you add the yet? As opposed to, no, you're not going to get me.
Yeah,
Or is-
no, that isn't. What the heck is he
or-
saying not yet about?
Yeah.
Or is he referring to what they were just discussing about, you know?
Because he doesn't plan on killing her at all. He plans on recruiting her.
So is it not like the plan that Sidious has been doing hasn't been enacted yet? Like, well, duh. Where are her Jedi senses? Why is she running around a corner blind with her lightsabers out, ready to hit whatever is in front of her, and she doesn't realize, no, that's not a Sith I'm about to face. That's one of my best friends.
Blind aggression. You can totally see how she's grown
Character
over the past
growth. It's
5
just
seasons.
mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, even if Maul was like, I don't know, like
suppressing his aura. I don't know what wording they use for that kind of thing, but like so that she couldn't track him. Why couldn't she sense the guys who were with him? Or is he like suppressing their aura too?
Again, you have to do the writer's
Did
job
they
for them.
Teleport?
Who is this, Sidious?
I do not know much, but I will share with you what the Council suspects.
why?
Why?
Why are you sharing what the Council suspects with a Mandalorian terrorist?
And an ex-Padawan.
And a citizen and a soldier. And a random droid.
Oh, never mind.
Droid is not privy to it.
Darth Sidious is the Sith Lord who orchestrated the Clone Wars and played both sides of it from the beginning.
Yeah,
Wait,
the fact that
so they know that.
this, and yet they still fell prey to Order 66 like a bunch of incompetent idiots.
Yeah, it's like,
Why would you, as soon as you knew, wait, both sides are just being puppeted, wouldn't you immediately remove yourself from either
side, I mean, like, obviously they're not on the separatist side, but like, you would remove yourself from the Republic side
and try to get an objective view of what the heck was going on? But they're just like, nah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, let's
What
just
could
keep
possibly go
playing
wrong?
this out.
It's like, yeah, somebody's obviously manipulating us, but
Sith
what
is
are
manipulating
we?
us.
Yeah,
But we'll just play right into his hands. Because why not? So stupid.
sucks. Reminder: this
Literally
is Filoni
screws up everything.
solo writing this.
Count Dooku is dead. Anakin killed him while rescuing the Chancellor.
So her expression there.
What? He killed the guy who I've hated for years now, and who was like
The leader of the Separatists. So it would make sense
for him to, you know, take out the leader.
to try to end the war. So she's all surprised.
And he's like, when we were rescuing the Chancellor, and earlier she was like, oh, you know, it's just, you're just going to rescue the Chancellor, and like, he doesn't need you, Mandalore needs you. Now she learned that Count Dooku was there, and like, Anakin ended up having to kill him in order to rescue the Chancellor. And she's just like, oh, okay. But it's I think it's kind of intended as a like, what? He killed him? It's like, do you not know Anakin? Have you not been by his side for the last 3 years? Shaking your head every time he acts in anger or goes a little too far, or, you know, like,
Why is this surprising to you on so many, like, there's so many different levels where it's like, this should not be a surprise to you.
it shouldn't surprise you that Anakin would act this way. It shouldn't surprise you that this is like something that would happen logically in a war. Like,
Ugh.
Send me more men.
Oh my goodness.
so
Demanding, so entitled.
Ahsoka will just be a consultant, right? You know, Rex is gonna be the commander. Send me more men.
Unfortunately, I cannot.
And yeah, his response is, oh, unfortunately I can't. Not like, you don't have the authority
Citizen?
to be requesting reinforcement. And that wasn't even a request. You don't have the authority to order reinforcements.
I'm being sent to hunt down General Grievous on Utapau.
What about Anakin? Maybe he can reinforce us.
And again, the council isn't sucking up to me, so Anakin's gonna come through.
But it's also like, yeah, she just learned Count Dooku's dead, so General Grievous is like the separatist leader kind of at this point. Yeah, just the fact that she's like, oh, well, if Count Dooku's dead and the Chancellor's fine, then just send me all of the men. The Grand Army of the Republic is going to come reinforce a citizen who has led an illegal occupation of an independent planet in order to catch a Sith. The Jedi's kind of thing, nothing to do with the Republic thing. Like, it's literally like they're trying to figure out what's going on with the Republic. So you're asking the Republic soldiers to help you catch someone who's gonna give you dirt on the Republic.
Anakin is on a special assignment by order of the Jedi Council. He has been instructed to observe the Chancellor and report his findings.
Why are you telling her this?
They told him to spy on the Supreme Chancellor? Why?
The Council wants to know what his true intentions are.
The Chancellor has been a great friend and mentor to Anakin.
So, last time we got interrupted, but what I was trying to say at that time was that in the last episode, she's like, how dare you go to the aid of the Chancellor? He doesn't need you. And then in this episode, she's all like, oh, but the Supreme Chancellor, how dare you spy on him? He is above reproach. But one other thing that I noticed when we were watching it before that I hadn't noticed prior to that was that here she is, and like she's just heard Obi-Wan say that they think someone is playing both sides. Then they're like, so we're gonna try and figure out who that is by observing the Supreme Chancellor. And she freaks out. Like, how dare you spy on him? We're trying to figure out who is, pulling the strings of this entire war. You don't think that maybe, just maybe, your friend's mentor could be involved? Or, even if he's not a part of it, right? Like, he could lead us to the guy who is a part of all this. You don't think that's a little important, maybe? No, you cannot say anything bad about the Chancellor because he's Anakin's friend. And Anakin's my friend. And therefore, because I cannot be friends with anyone who is not the absolute best person in the world, because that's just not me, then my friend's friend must be a great person.
But it was okay for him to die and the Republic to lose the war in the last episode because they were just being Palpatine's lapdogs.
It's best that you do speak with him.
And what? Defend the Council's actions? I hardly think I'm the best person for that.
I'm asking for your help.
What does Obi-Wan want from her?
Exactly.
Like, she literally just said, what do you want me to do? Like, defend the Council? I sure as heck am not going to do that. And then he's just like, oh, but I need your help. It's like, okay, so what do you want me to do? Because I'm not doing that. But he's not clear about what he wants her to do other than talk to Anakin. Okay, I'll talk to Anakin. I'll be like, man, give them the middle finger and walk away, bro. That's what I did, and things are great because I still can do whatever the heck I want and use all this power and authority, and it's great out here not having to answer to the Council. But still have everything, all the perks of being a Jedi.
Tell Anakin.
I will.
Tell him what?
Probably something like, oh, I miss you, or I care about you. Like, usually they do that in those moments where it's like, tell them I love them, but they don't finish, or it's like, I know. But it's like, okay, well, what's she gonna say here, right? Like, tell him he was always my friend.
Make sure C-Deck is properly fortified.
Yes, ma'am.
And they call her freaking ma'am. She's like half their age.
Commander!
I'm here, Trooper. Sterling, isn't it?
But of course she knows his name. She somehow knows all the clones' names, because that's just who Ahsoka is.
She'll sacrifice an entire cruiser full of clones to save her own skin, but hey, she cares about the clones.
She could call them by name as they burned into fiery ashes. Goodbye, Sterling. Goodbye, Matchstick. Goodbye, Bob. Goodbye, Rogue. Goodbye. Thanks for dying for me, guys. I care so much about each and every one of you.
I survived, and I can thrive in the chaos that is to come.
This is so stupid because everyone's like, oh, Ahsoka won the fight with Maul because, like he was so scared, and that in and of itself is total BS. Right here he says, I can thrive in the chaos. Thrive in it. Does that say I'm terrified out of my mind to you? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, he's got a plan. He knows that he can survive either way. Either he's gonna, take down Skywalker and Sidious and take Sidious's place, or he's just gonna roll with Sidious getting what he wants, right? And thriving in the chaos caused by that. But it's like, yeah, he doesn't sound like someone who's panicking and losing his mind. I mean, we'll keep watching and see if it becomes like if it changes at some point, which wouldn't surprise me that it starts acting like Fives' drug from the beginning of season 6, where it's just like nothing, and then, okay, we need him to be out of his mind so that Ahsoka can beat him, so we'll see.
Information is a valuable commodity. See to it that the Prime Minister does not become an asset to our enemy. Now, there are some things I need to know.
The dialogue there also seemed a little weird. He's like talking about Sidious's plan, and then suddenly he's like, information is an important, commodity, go kill Olmec. And then, where were we? Oh yeah, I was gonna interrogate you. That just seemed a little weird to me. Just kind of thrown in there.
Hey guys, does this look familiar? Remind you of the sequels at all? Cough, cough. The sequels that Filoni helped make? Stop trying to deny it. Don't rush to the comments screaming, no, that's not true. It is. Do your research.
What's Maul's plan? How is he going to escape?
Maul is not trying to escape because he sees no point in doing so.
Again, Maul's just chilling. He's not terrified. He's totally chill.
This whole series, because a lot of people have said the Maul in TCW is not the Maul from Phantom Menace, and basically one of the things being that he wasn't the master plan guy, right? But in this version of him, he's absolutely the master plan guy. And so, yeah, it's like Maul clearly has a plan. He has a plan if it goes this way. He's got a plan if it goes that way. He's got a plan if it goes sideways. He has a plan. He's not flying by the seat of his pants and freaking out as Sidious gets closer and closer to power. Because what does it matter to him if Sidious is in power? Well, there's chaos. He will thrive in the chaos with the foundation that he has been building for himself over the course of TCW season 4, 5, and 4 and 5, basically, because it drops after there's nothing in season 6. And then he's back. But I was going to say, okay, so we see Ahsoka. They're like, oh no, there was an attack. And they're like, oh, he took Jesse and he points down the thing. And then suddenly they're in the prison to interrogate Olmec, which is super convenient because dude is about to come kill Olmec. But they gotta get the information from Olmec first. So instead of pursuing the lead that they had, trying to rescue Jesse, because isn't that Ahsoka's whole thing? Oh no, we gotta rescue our friends. Season 1 Ahsoka?
Season 1. She's we gotta go rescue Plo Koon.
But now it's kind of nah, bro, we'll just leave Jesse, cause we gotta go talk to Olmec to figure out what Maul's plan is. I don't know why we didn't do that before, going to the attack site, because, I guess that makes sense, but it's why didn't this interview with Olmec happen sooner? Why is it suddenly happening now? Just when he's about to get killed before he can, tell them everything. What?
For weeks now, he's been consumed by a strange sense of dread.
Then where is that dread? He's literally contradicting himself, because he said a second ago, yeah,
Maul's good. Maul's chill. He sees no sense in fleeing or anything. He's got a plan. He's good. We're all good. And then suddenly he's like, he's been consumed by this strange sense of dread. Why aren't we seeing it? And why did you just contradict yourself?
Has he mentioned Sidious?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, so he says he's got this strange sense of dread. And so then Ahsoka immediately jumps to Sidious, which maybe makes sense. I mean, like, she's kind of putting the pieces together, right? Maul used to work for Sidious, and now they're looking for Sidious. I guess I can maybe let that one go. But then he's like, well, not that I recall. And then instead of following that further, then Bo-Katan interrupts with like, well, why does he want Kenobi?
You said he wanted Kenobi here. Why?
As if that's not obvious. Like, Ahsoka should know that. Like, well, because Kenobi killed him. Well, tried to kill him. You know, cut him in half. Moving on. What else? You know, like, but then instead, he's like, oh, well, no, but it wasn't just Kenobi.
It wasn't just Kenobi he wanted, no. There was someone else he was interested in.
Instead of answering the question as to why he wanted Kenobi, he's like, but he didn't just want Kenobi. It's just the way the dialogue jumps in order to give Filoni the outcomes that he wants. I think he's trying for subtext. He's trying so hard for subtext. You know, like, this person asks this, but this person answers this. That's not inherently bad writing, but just the way Filoni does it, it doesn't add up when you analyze it. Whereas other things you watch, I've heard some really good things about, like, you know, Quentin Tarantino movies and such like that. I think The Closer Look and Savage Books, they've got some really good, like, dialogue breakdowns where they analyze scenes and they're saying, you know, this person is saying this and that person is saying that, and it doesn't seem to make sense, but when you understand this and this and this and this, it makes perfect sense. This is deep dialogue. Whereas this is not telling you anything about the characters. It's not telling you anything about the deeper world building. It's telling you Filoni wants the conversation to end here and he wants it to happen quickly, so he's just going to cut out sections. You'd think the conversation would flow this way, but it flows this way instead, so that he can just get to where he wants to go. And it's like, okay.
If only I could remember the name.
Okay, first of all, why is he so forthcoming with all the information up until this point? I mean, he knows that Ahsoka's connected to Skywalker because he's the one who dropped her off when they came in season 3. But wouldn't it be the information as to why he wants Skywalker that's more important? And thus, if you say, oh yeah, he's interested in Skywalker too, her first question is going to be, well, why? And then you can be like, I don't quite remember. That would make a lot more sense. But we have to get this whole scene that's about to take place where, oh, my dying breath, I will tell you it was Skywalker.
What name?
Skywalker.
And then the whole audience can go, ooh! But it's really not that interesting.
Bo, help him remember.
And here she goes, full-on gangster.
Immediately jumps to the aggressive and violent solution, because she's what the Jedi should be.
Because in the past, we've compared that scene to the season 1, episode 9, Cloak of Darkness scene, where she straight up, like, she graphically threatens Newt Gunray with a lightsaber to his throat. And then when Luminara tells her off, she's like, well, the only way he'll talk is if he's scared enough. And we're seeing the exact same mentality here. So please tell me, how did she grow? Oh yeah, she didn't! Wow!
It was...
Rex, get a medic.
How do you survive that? How?
What name?
Sky Guy.
Why did you have to remind me of that horrible nickname?
Why did Saxon stop on top of that elevator? She's chasing him through the elevator shafts. He like dodges the one and then she stops the other one and he can very easily just go around that and continue running from her, but instead he stops. Yeah, I guess so that he can turn her around and try to get her to get crushed by that one, even though she could just easily dodge it. I mean, she's got her jetpack.
You once liberated me from my imprisonment by Sidious.
That's all the explanation we get for why Maul is suddenly free again in Season 7. Great writing.
We don't take orders from clothes.
All citizens move to the shelter location.
The people clearly not wanting the Republic occupation. Ahsoka standing watching it all with crossed arms, not caring. She's doing this for the people of Mandalore, guys, not just because she wants to capture Maul.
This occupation cannot last much longer. The people will not stand for it.
The Republic forces will depart once we capture Maul.
It's all about Maul. She lectures Obi-Wan like, oh, Jedi are supposed to help people and you're not helping people, and because apparently the Chancellor's not a person. But then he's the Supreme Chancellor and how dare you observe him. But yeah, no, it's very clear. She doesn't care about the people. She doesn't care what the people want. She is not there to help people. She's there to capture Maul. And that's the only reason why it's like, no, this has to happen right now. So screw Coruscant. No one there needs your help. We gotta help the people of Mandalore. By which I mean I just want to capture Maul. Because then just think about how great that would be. That I captured someone who Obi-Wan couldn't even kill. And you see it at the end, that like Filoni uses Bo-Katan to like, wow, you accomplished something that nobody else has done.
You succeeded where many have failed.
To which Ahsoka, is just like, oh yeah, terrorist, sexual, harassing, xenophobic person. You're one of my best teachers.
I've learned from the best, including you.
It's great. Filoni's writing is just the best.
Once we capture Maul, then you will have your opportunity to lead.
Yeah, she doesn't care about who's taking charge afterwards. She does not care. The last thing she saw of Bo-Katan was a terrorist willing to murder innocent civilians, burn them to death, laugh at their pain, and she's just like, as soon as I get Maul, I'm out of here and you can do whatever you want. But she cares about the people of Mandalore. That's the only reason she's doing this. Show versus tell, people. Doesn't matter what she says. It's all in how she acts. And her actions are speaking volumes.
I return your comrade in arms to you.
So that he can kill you later. Try to.
I couldn't help it. I told them everything.
So that's why she let Maul kill them all, to get back at Jesse. I'm kidding.
You should go. Your people need you.
Yeah, because again, she's like, oh, I care so much about these people. Like, you gotta go help them, Bo-Katan. And this is exactly what I said in my Mary Sue video, right? Like, Ahsoka has seen absolutely nothing to prove that the Death Watch are really gone, that Bo-Katan is a changed person, any of that. But because the audience knows that Bo-Katan is supposedly a good person now, the narrative wants you to believe that she's a good person now, then the audience is like, oh yeah, go Ahsoka for supporting this good person against that bad person, Maul. The narrative does not draw any attention to the fact that this is basically Ahsoka having omniscience about other characters' morality. Mary Sue.
And now we get to spend half the episode on a shitty fight that Ahsoka should have lost in 2 seconds flat.
I never realized before just how much of the episode it took, but it takes half the episode. Wow.
You are the one that I wish to speak with.
Why?
Were you not cast out of your order?
I left voluntarily.
The one time the narrative and she admits it. But then the narrative immediately is like, no, right? Immediately Maul's like, no. You left because they were so bad to you.
You were motivated to leave by the hypocrisy of the Jedi Council.
And she doesn't answer. She just kind of gives this look like, well, yeah, but... So it's like, no, she never takes responsibility. She never takes responsibility.
I am here to bring you to justice.
Yeah, sure, because you're all about justice, Ahsoka.
The time of the Jedi has passed. They cannot defeat Sidious. But together, you and I can.
Yup. Me and an ex-Padawan, even though Sidious completely thrashed me, even when I had the help of my brother. But no, me and an ex-Padawan can totally take him.
The fact that he's like, no. The entirety of the Jedi Council, who has like, how many masters? Yoda and Mace and Obi-Wan. No, they cannot defeat Sidious. But this ex-Padawan and I, who was thrashed when I had a much stronger, much better trained apprentice who was willing to use the dark side, which he believes is more powerful than the light side. But no, Ahsoka's the ace in the hole. She's the trump card. She's the Mary Sue. I mean, what?
Every choice you have made has led you to this moment.
This feels like more of what we saw from Anakin in, what was it, the last episode? Yeah, the last episode, where he's like, she was meant to be here. Like, things happened exactly as they needed to so that Ahsoka could come back and save us all. And Maul's spouting more of the same.
Filoni's gotta lay it on thick so that the audience understands, no, this was always the plan. Everything has led to this, because Star Wars is all about Ahsoka.
But remember, folks, when Mace told Ahsoka that the Force works in mysterious ways, she got all grumpy and she crossed her arms and she gave him sour looks, and we were supposed to believe that Mace was so awful for saying that to her. So two-faced. Filoni always wants to have his cake and eat it too.
I guess they both just passively used the Force so that they didn't get shredded by glass.
What do you want with Anakin Skywalker?
He is the key to everything.
To bring balance to the Force?
I gotta say, right there she's like, oh, to bring balance to the Force? So she talks as if she knows he's the chosen one, but when was it established in the show?
On Mortis. They remember everything from Mortis.
But we just recently rewrote the Mortis arc, and yeah, she has absolutely no reaction to hearing that Anakin is the chosen one, and she never brings it up again, so it's clearly of no significance to her, more of her clearly not giving a shit about Anakin. And now all of a sudden she brings it up and she's like, oh, he'll bring balance to the Force. Of course, because he's the chosen one. And I have so much faith in him as the chosen one, even though literally didn't matter to me before.
The only other time that the events of Mortis were brought up was season 6, 3 seasons after it originally aired. And season 6 was never even, like, they weren't even sure it was going to happen, right? So in the original run, Mortis was never brought up again. And then when they got season 6, then they bring it up in passing so that Yoda has reason to think his hearing Qui-Gon isn't him just going insane. And the reality is that they're not even like clearly referencing Mortis here. That's me making the connection. But that's the only thing I can think of, right? And there are moments where you don't have to spell everything out. Given that that's the only way she knows that information, then that's a given. But yeah, it's, again, Mortis has huge ramifications, and it's mentioned in passing once, and we have to infer that's how she knows that information here.
Great writing.
With your help, the Jedi can stop Sidious before it's too late.
I've been counting it out in my head this whole time, and it took her just over a minute to turn against him after she told him, hey, with your help, we can maybe stop Sidious. Save an entire freaking galaxy.
End the Sith.
But no, takes all of a minute for her to be like, no, screw that. I'm gonna sacrifice thousands of lives to save someone who isn't even immediately in danger and could probably handle Maul if it came down to it. BITCH.
If she thinks Anakin is more skilled, more powerful than her, and she kind of alludes to that later when she's like, oh, you're lucky Anakin's not here.
You're lucky Anakin didn't show up. The way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long.
Then why does she feel the need to immediately engage Maul, thus throwing the chance to team up with him against Sidious out the window, and like you said, potentially save the galaxy? So did she lie to him just to get him to answer her question about Anakin? That's my guess. And then when she got the answer, then she's like, okay, I'm still gonna bring you in. I'm still against you. Now I've gotten, an excuse, a good excuse to just completely go against what I just said. It's either she lied to him from the start, never planned to team up with him, she just wanted an answer, or she is so colossally self-centered and moronic that she broke the deal in order to protect Anakin. And I call it self-centered because that's what it is. She's protecting her one friend who's not in immediate danger, who, by her own words, she doesn't think is in any danger, but she throws it all out because, oh, he's my friend, I gotta protect my friend. Wow, lady. Wow.
It shows that after all these seasons, she still does not see the big picture, which Anakin tried to teach her back in season 1.
Also in season 1 was when Ayla tried to teach her, you do not sacrifice 1,000 for one.
Great reigning.
I see the Padawan needs one last lesson.
More like 100, because she never learned any of the others.
Disarmed. She only has her shorter saber, and he still doesn't end her in seconds.
And this fight really seems intent on bashing Kenobi, because, again, you have an ex-Padawan beating someone who Kenobi couldn't even kill, and she does it while she's unarmed. The fight ends with her being completely unarmed, and she wins. And then, they throw in that line of, oh, you have Kenobi's arrogance.
You have Kenobi's arrogance.
When was Kenobi ever arrogant? He's a freaking model Jedi.
Not to mention, he's like, oh, you have Kenobi's arrogance. He beat you, buddy. He beat you because you were being arrogant.
Even though Maul had the high ground, Kenobi still won, because Kenobi is the master of the high ground.
You're lucky Anakin didn't show up. The way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long.
And that line right there just goes to show she is still so cocky. She absolutely is arrogant. Not like Kenobi, because that's not a good adjective to define Kenobi, but like arrogance. For sure. Wasn't she supposed to have outgrown that? Like, isn't that one of the things that, she was so arrogant in the first seasons, but now she's not arrogant? Hello. Yes, she is.
And everyone goes on and on about, like, the choreography in this fight. It's like, oh, it's so great, like, best Star Wars duel ever, blah, 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 blah. And honestly, I don't think this even tops the fight between Sidious, Maul, and Savage. Because it's notably slower because they, what's that called? Motion capped it or something? But yeah, like, it's not that good, guys. And like the progression of the fight, how it plays out, doesn't make any sense either because again, Ahsoka should have lost in 2 seconds flat. Stop acting like this duel is the best thing ever. It's literal garbage. The choreography by itself is okay at best. And the progression of the fight and the power scaling is garbage. Straight up garbage. So no, it's nowhere near being the best Star Wars duel there is. Stop saying that, it's getting really annoying.
But this is like the best. So, couldn't help myself. I do think it is good, and because the fights in TCW are kind of like so low tier, then I would say it's among the best of TCW for sure. But I find it very telling that that's one of the main things that people have to say about this fight. Oh, it was such a cool fight, and it's like, okay, and that's all you got? That doesn't make this good writing. Okay, you know, they brought in a good choreographer and good actors and such for the motion capture, but like, our focus here is the writing. We comment on other things from time to time, but our focus is the writing, and a flashy fight does not make the fight itself well written. And like you just said, when it comes down to considering factors of writing, like, should this character be able to beat that character, and why are these characters fighting in the first place, and what's this dialogue going on about, and stuff like, and then now he's suddenly up in the room, and it's all just for the sake of spectacle. And so that at the end, he has somewhere to fall so that he can't fight anymore. Like, that is literally the only reason that Filoni had him thrown out the window by her. And then he's like, I'm gonna go climb up there. Okay.
If you die, I promise you, it will be on the field of battle. You will die as warriors.
I need backup. Our forces are falling. We need your support.
Die well, Mandalorian.
No, wait!
So Maul tells them, you will die in glorious battle. And they all go, yeah, this is what we want. And now they're dying in battle, and Saxon's like, no, you have to help us. Why don't you come help us? It's almost like the person writing this doesn't remember what they put on the last page.
Or in the last paragraph.
Yeah, it's great. Fabulous writing. Everybody's always in character. Consistency reigns supreme, and things are never heavy-handed.
You are difficult to kill.
So now she's trying to kill him? I thought she was going to capture him. Now all of a sudden she's talking about killing him?
Yeah, I never noticed that before, but that is a very good point.
I guess because he snubbed her, so now she's like, yeah, you have to die now.
We could have destroyed Sidious.
Only for you to take his place.
No! Why wouldn't you just stop that from happening? So stupid.
So I was right. She did lie. I forgot about that line. But she was never going to help him. So she just lied. She manipulated him. Like she has so many others. Forced boop. Fight is over. Forced push. Fight is over. Fight is over. What? Why isn't the fight over?
He could literally just cut the beam out from under her, and she'd be bye-bye. Just cut the beam. Yeah, she does it, but somehow he's not smart enough to do it.
Have you seen any evidence up to this point of him being panicked, out of his mind, crazy with worry? I haven't seen any evidence of that. And I haven't seen any moments of the same kind of arrogance that he showed in The Phantom Menace with Obi-Wan. He wasn't toying with her. He was just fighting stupidly because Filoni needs him to fight stupidly so that Ahsoka can win. It's only now that he's suddenly freaking out.
We're all going to burn! We're all going to die! You don't know what you're doing!
Why? Now he's all like, we're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! Whereas, like, what? 5 minutes ago, he was like, I will thrive in the chaos and blah, blah. It's like, why the flip of the switch? Because he got captured? I don't get anything. It's TCW. Yay!
We'll take it from here, Commander.
Just called her commander again. Reminder, she's just supposed to be here as an advisor.
And 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. VeggieTales. No.
He's so mad about this. He doesn't even know what's going on. This is just like, this is wrong. This is bad.
There's like 7 things I need to press play on. Burn it to the ground. Now I feel more compelled to finish that ridiculously large script that I've been postponing and procrastinating and avoiding.